Both of these athletes come to fence through their athletic ability, it appears. Great shape. Burrow with his left, trying to keep on the outside edge. Jamie is trying to make sure he gets in. No action. Or no result of the action. Again, seems Burrow tries to set up. Great initial attack. Again, a double. Really, in looking at this style now, they've seen it a couple of times, is Burrow really does want to invite an attack so that he can parry or take the blade if he entices the other, Cook to come out. But he seems to do that with his fencing opponents. He wants to invite. He keeps bringing and seems what we have. Well, I'd like to see that in slow motion. It seemed Burrow felt like he had taken the blade off of the strip and he had hit the outside, but it appears from the judge's point of view that he initiated the touch before the blade was taken off the strip. Yeah, entertaining. Yes. Okay, we have the Nick Woodbridge. Okay, we have Nick Woodbridge against Parade from France. At this moment, it appears that Nick wants to push a little bit and then bring him back out. Maybe trying to get a timing to create an attack. Closing the distance. When you see that, trying to straight attack, get him to come over so he can take his blade. Initial attack, as you see, I think if we see it in slow motion again. Oh, the ref did not allow the touch. Well, we're back on guard. Okay, we have now he invited the attack. If we see it in slow motion, or we're going to see again the invitation underneath. Comes out the tack, takes the blade, and does the repost. He extends, gets him underneath. I missed the first one. I thought he took it. That second time after he came up, he went underneath it.
So let's have a quick look at the leaderboard as it stands. And, Pavlo Kopolyansky's had a few defeats in a row. He's been leading all morning. He's dropped now into equal 5th place. And Pavlo Timochenko, who took gold at World Cup #1 a year ago in Palm Springs, is now leading here in the fencing. And we know he's got a good combined event in him. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that develops.
Here we are back, Charlotte. We got Cook from Great Britain on the left, and it's a double touch. Hollis on the right from France, Cook from Great Britain on the left. Pretty evenly matched here. You know, it's interesting. The Hollis from France is a very typical French fencer, and the Brit. Interesting. Watch the replay. Hollis is going to make a simple timing straight flush. Time straight flush. There he goes. Disengaged flush. Cook misses on the stop hit. Hollis lands. Obviously, Cook thought he had the hit, but that's fencing.
Okay, I've just been informed that there's a cable problem on this piece, which they have to fix. So we've got our local handyman here, our local Sparky. There we go. Thank you very much, Mike. Nothing like a good old-fashioned hammer just to knock a few bits together. There we go, and here's universal duct tape as well. Call it gaffer tape in England, but yeah, I think duct tape is taking over the world. Okay, great stuff. Thank you, Mike. Silver backed as well. That must be the expensive stuff.
Very, very fancy stuff.
So Nick Woodbridge getting ready, and these are big bouts for him. He's had a good start to the morning. If he can be in the top third of the field, he's going to be threatening when it comes to combined event. And you can see that he's got his mask on. He's ready to fight here, and his mindset, he just wants to get on with his bout. Jamie Cook's having a torrid time out there. He's just in that place at the moment, Bob, which I'm sure you've seen many people be at when they're so young. You just can't plant, you just can't inject 5 years of fencing experience into them.
No, and it's not just that. It's a whole cultural thing. I mean, fencing's part of the French culture. And it's not really part of the British culture. So you got Woodbridge, obviously a great swimmer, great physical athlete. Doesn't have the technique that Hollis has, and amazing. That's a double. No. Woodbridge got the touch. He's keeping it going. Sometimes you have that. You just go on a roll if it's your day. Simple extension. He just caught the guy sleeping. Just caught Hollis from France sleeping. I think the Frenchman simply didn't give Woodbridge the credit, the respect that he should have, which is also not uncommon to the French. I am American. Okay. So we have Hollis and Cook. So Hollis on the right from France, Cook on the left. Hollis is really going to be bearing down. He doesn't want to have two defeats in this round. So you're going to see. Yep, there you go. He needed that hit. He needed that victory just to save himself. Save a little dignity there. I really think he was sleeping against Woodbridge. Woodbridge having a great day. One of the better physical athletes, the run swim combined in the swimming event. If he can hang on to the fence, he's a real threat for a medal. U.S. had an athlete very similar to this, Chad Senior in 2000, who found himself in position for the gold medal in the Sydney Games. True run swimmer, and he happened to have sky opens up, sun shines, and you have your day. So we have Woodbridge and Pate. Woodbridge on the left from Great Britain, Pate from France on the right. Pate needs this victory as well. Pressing, pushing. Woodbridge in the 2 meter, at the 2 meter line. He's going to need to come out. And that's what Pate wants. He's trying to set up a counterattack. Double touch. It's exactly what Pate is looking for, though. Pate's putting the pressure on, and that's the tricky part, putting just enough pressure to create the attack from Woodbridge, but not too much that he's too close. And if Pate gets just close enough, he'll attack. So he has option A and option B. He's just picking the pressure. Pate just keeps the pressure. There's only 10 seconds left in the match, which is gonna force the action. At 10 seconds, it forces the action. Pate's keeping the pressure. Another double. Another double touch. Pate is a classic example of French fencing. French fencers train in INSEP, which is the National Training Center in Paris, just outside Paris. It's a fencing factory. Well, you wonder sometimes. That's a real. Sometimes when a guy needs a little bit of time, he asks for an Allen wrench for his grip, to tighten down the grip. And what he's really looking for is a break in the action to think about what he needs to do. So I'm not sure what that was. Now there's just a few seconds left. Pate's going to put the pressure on. And let's watch that replay. Woodbridge. Pate just got too close. Just closed the distance too close, and then he missed. He wanted the attack, and there Pate was just a step behind, just a beat behind. Woodbridge did exactly what Pate wanted, and Pate just missed the hit. So here we are back, Charlotte. We have Hollis on the left from France, Benedetti from Italy on the right. Benedetti, big, tall, has the reach, absolutely has the reach. Waiting for that stop hit. Look at Benedetti's got that forward stance. He's capable from that position. He can do two things. He can stop it, or he can make a simple straight attack. Frenchman's holding his blade down, which is also a very classical French school. That hey, Frenchman Hollis got the touch. He simply he just outfenced Benedetti. I mean, there's nothing more that can be said. He just has a better skill level. It was all timing. Parried the blade down, just a beat eight repost continuation. That's all it was. But he was very comfortable. If you watched his body language, he was just very comfortable up against Benedetti. I'm sure they fenced many times. Now we have Christopher Pate from France on the left with Paolo Petroni from Italy on the right. What I find interesting about when you have a Frenchman and an Italian fencing is the schools of fencing in those countries are very, very similar. It's not like the Germans against the Italians or the French, but the French and Italian fencing schools are very, very similar. Pate missed. Petroni counterattacked. Now watch, Pate's going to throw the blade out. Let's go for the hand. Counterattack by Petroni, victory. That's a situation where Pate just took Petroni for granted. I don't think he thought he was going to attack off of that. Threw his blade out. He wasn't on his game, not on his toes. Fencing takes a lot of focus, especially in one touch with 1 minute. These athletes really, really need to bear down. And the tricky part of that is there's 35 bouts, so they have to do this 35 times in a row at a fairly short period of time. This fencing will be done over 2 hours, and it just requires intense concentration. And sometimes there's a lack. There's a lapse in focus or concentration, and if you can detect that in your opponent, you can take advantage of it. And that's just what happened in the last bout. Now Petroni coming back up on the right, Petroni, and on the left, Hollis from France. Petroni needs to win this. So you're going to see a whole different level of focus by Petroni. Again, Hollis very comfortable on the piss, very comfortable on the strip. Got the bouncing motion, just like boxers, bouncing around the ring. It's the reason fencers bounce is you can move faster when you're moving. It's easier to get your body moving forward or backwards from when you have that spring in your legs. You can move a lot faster as opposed to being flat-footed. So that's why the fencers are out here bouncing. Here we go. Petroni needed that. He needed it. He waited for Hollis to throw out the pick, and he just counterattacked. That was a classic example of Petroni being more focused than Hollis because he needed that victory very much. There you go. Done. You see the green light there in the background, and Petroni obviously happy.
Everything's in the back.
You know, the one-touch game, that's another classic example of very simple actions. Very simple actions. Benedetti makes an attack. That's a stop hit from Pate, a simple stop hit with opposition. He's opposing the other guy's blade. He pushes it out of the way as he's moving forward, and the victory for Pate from France. So it looks like the French and the Italians split on the victory, you know, on their team match here, on the victories and defeats. Looks like it was 2-2. And it's interesting how the emotionally how these athletes go back and forth. You drop one, the next bout is twice as important mentally. You can't get yourself buried into a hole. It's a numbers game too. I mean, at the end of the day, these athletes are trying to get the magic number is 1,000 points, and that requires 70% victory. So out of every 10 matches, you need to win 7, so you can afford 3 defeats. And really, that's what the better fencers, they don't count how many victories they have; they count how many defeats they have. Beautiful day in Charlotte, North Carolina. Beautiful day in Charlotte, North Carolina. The final day of the World Cup in the United States. These athletes have, it's been a long 4 days. And I can tell you on behalf of the organizers, it's been a long week. Everybody's happy to have the event here, and everybody's also happy to have the event over with. Yeah. You notice the backdrop here against the stage. That banner is a repeating London skyline, and it interchanges with the Charlotte skyline. So you take a look there across the base across the left side of your screen. You'll have Charlotte, London, repeating itself across the stage. It's the marriage between the two cities here, because Charlotte's the first stop on the road to London for these athletes. And tomorrow the whole circus moves to Rio. I think the athletes were delighted to know that those are the tools that the directors, the referees use. You have 3 cards, just like in soccer. You have a yellow card, which is a warning, a red card, which is a penalty, where an athlete's penalized 10 points, and a black card is exclusion, which means you're thrown out of the competition. You see the yellow card used often, just like you see it in football matches or soccer in the States, and you see the red card occasionally. You very rarely see the black card used. That would be for something very, very severe. The weight, you have what's called the weight, that silver tube there. That's 750 grams. You'll see the indentation. What the referees are doing is placing that weight on top of the tip of the épée, and the épée has to have enough strength to push that weight back up, thereby ensuring that there's a maximum amount of pressure required to make the light go off. And the other little piece of metal there was what we call a shim, and it measures the distance between the tip of the blade and when the light goes off. Now here we are back on in the action. We got Petroni from Italy on the left, Daniels from Austria on the right, Thomas Daniel. This ought to be a great match. Daniel's very, very fast, very, very effective. Petroni long and lean. So you got Daniels. He can do it all, and there you go. He can parry repost. He can also flesh. Petroni has the height advantage. Daniel's a more skilled fencer, but it is one touch. Again, Petroni on the left, Daniels on the right. Italy versus Austria. They're watching the, there you go. Like I said, Daniels could do it all. Parry, repost, and attack, and this was a simple attack. And watch, he beats the blade up and moves forward with a continuation. Petroni's going to extend, Aries extension, underneath, and, you know, and both fencers did what they do best. Petroni threw his blade up for a stop hit, went over Daniel's shoulder, and that's a gambler's move. So we're back here. We've got Benedetti on the left from Italy and Mikhail Prokopenko from Belarus on the right. The Belarusians have 3 athletes in the final today. Great result. Belarusians pressing, very calm, very quiet. I'd say these athletes are pretty evenly matched in terms of skill level. You're looking for Prokopenko to make an attack. The way he's pressing Benedetti. There you go. There's the attack. Double touch. Interesting how you can just take a look. And a look at Prokopenko. He's on a French grip, so he's pulled his hand back on the handle. Gives him an extra 3 or 4 inches. There, does it again. And Prokopenko has the victory. Benedetti doesn't do many parries. Not a big parrier there. So he relies on his stop hit. Prokopenko's just timing it. It's all timing. And there he's having a great day. You see how Benedetti went over his shoulder. He's currently on the top of the leaderboard. And when you're having a great day and you're winning like that, you almost feel invincible, like you can't be hit. And you take chances that you might not normally take. And this is what he's doing. You throw caution to the wind, and and all that does is add to the invincibility of the feeling. Prokopenko also took a heavy shot to the ribs earlier today. The doctor on site had to examine him. There was some concern, but obviously he's back in fine form. Petroni on the left from Italy, Prokopenko on the right. Now let's see. Petroni needs to do something different. If he lets Prokopenko set the timing up, he's dead. There he goes. Simple, straight attacks. He just went straight through the Italians. It's his day. He feels the timing. That's what you mean by it. There you go. He just feels the timing. Caught him absolutely flat-footed. I think my advice, if I was the Italian coach, I'd give my boys a couple of shots of espresso. Maybe a cappuccino. They need maybe 2 cappuccinos. Just caught him flat-footed. The way Prokopenko is attacking and the way he's feeling the timing, I certainly would imagine he'll continue this streak of victories, and very likely should end up on the top of the leaderboard at the end of the day. You have Benedetti on the left from Italy, Thomas Daniel on the right from Austria. Also, there's no question that Thomas Daniel from Austria is benefiting by Prokopenko's the number of victories he has, because it's like a wave. You get a momentum as a team. You know, when you're paired with somebody, even though they're not from the same country, it still helps. So Benedetti, he's got to bear down. He doesn't want to have no victories on this round, so he's got to push. That's why you see him suddenly coming out, pushing Daniel back. Daniel's going to set up a flesh. If you can see the way, there he goes. There's the flesh. He missed the first action. He continued, second or third repost, and he landed the touch. But you could see the way he was standing. The flesh was clearly coming. There he goes. And he misses. He comes over, he misses again, and third hit. There you go. Yeah, he's a happy camper because he knows how lucky, frankly, that was. He missed twice before he landed the touch. The Italians had a tough round there. No victories. Taking a look at the leaderboard here. Morosi from Hungary, tied for 19th place. Morosi's a big name in the sport. Sam Sachs from the United States, tied for 26th. It's not exactly a disaster, but he really needs to move forward on the victories here to try to get himself up to 50%. Kurpalansky, Timoshenko, both from Ukraine, on top of the leaderboard. Timoshenko coached by his father. Both Kurpalansky and Timoshenko just came from a training camp in Colorado Springs, United States Olympic Training Center. 3 weeks at altitude. They're in great shape. You can see why that last round was so important to Thomas Daniel. It put him over onto the positive side, so he's above 50%, those are the key numbers in pentathlon fencing. The 70% mark for 1,000 points, and then there's the 50-50 mark. Every athlete here knows on the worst of days that they have to be at least better than 50-50. At least one victory more than 50-50. And then when you're having a great day, you're looking for that 70%. You get 7 victories out of 10. You can notice here how Kurpalansky and Timoshenko are right on that 70% mark. So they're right where they need to be. They're on pace for 1,000 points. And again, that 1,000 point bar, benchmark is critical in this event if you hope to end up on the podium at the end of the day. So we have Prokopenko from Belarus on the left, Andrei Soldatov. Just having a great day. He's just fleshing, just simple straight attacks, all counter time straight attacks. And there he goes. Caught the guy sleeping again. It's amazing. Prokopenko is simply putting his blade up and moving forward. And everybody's letting him do it. It's almost like people don't believe that he's actually going to come. Four more rounds to go here in Charlotte in the fencing hall at the Memorial Stadium complex, downtown Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, one of the financial capitals of the United States, second behind New York. Here's Daniel from Austria on the left, and Hong from Korea on the right. And here once again, now the Koreans are very well schooled. Their fencing program's gotten a lot better over the last 5-6 years. Very strong work ethic, very good blade work. Daniel has great blade work too. To me, these guys are very evenly paired. in terms of skill. The winner here is going to be the guy who's more focused. Yeah. Hong definitely has a flesh in him. We know Daniel does. Watch how Daniel lowers his hand to his leg. He's inviting Hong to move closer to close the distance. What Daniel has to be careful of, that counterattack. It worked. It worked. Moving his hand down, he invited Hong to move forward, closing the distance. When the distance gets close, gives him a better chance. Simple parry, and there's the touch. You know, fencing's called physical chess by a lot of folks, and the reason is that in addition to the physical skills that are required for the sport, in terms of speed, strength, there's also a good deal of strategy involved. And a lot of it is trying to get your opponent to put them into a position where you can monopolize, on their mistakes or on the distance. It's all distance. How far are you away from your opponent? That's not unlike boxing or any number of other combat martial sports. Prokopenko from Belarus, he's been fleshing all day. And the Korean, Hong felt that he was going to beat him to the punch. There's no question these guys are watching the fencers in front of him. Hong knows Prokopenko has been fleshing. So I would expect to see Hong try it again. And Prokopenko is going to try to beat him to the punch, would be my guess. Prokopenko on that French grip, doesn't have a lot of strength in the parries. But he's trying to set up the timing. That was a gimme. Hong got a little too excited. By that I mean he got a little close. There you go, just simply to the arm. Hong was thinking offense, 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 and he wasn't thinking defense. He let the distance creep on him, get a little too close. Prokopenko just, simply stuck his blade out, hit him in the arm. That's a gimme touch. While Axel Stammen there, the referee on strip 1, the television strip, Axel's a great German pentathlete, just retired after 20 years in the Berlin police force, and he's come back to pentathlon. He called the organizing committee and offered his services. He's trying to re-engage with the pentathlon family. Now Thomas Daniel from Austria again on the left, Hong on the right. Very, very similar fencing styles. A lot of blade work. They both do a lot of blade work here. Daniel, no question, has the experience advantage over Hong. But Hong's fast. Now watch. Now notice Daniel's blade is in an entirely different position than where it was in his previous bout. He's lifted his blade. It's up. It's not down at his leg. It's higher. And the reason it's higher is he doesn't really know what to do with Hong. He's keeping it up there to protect himself. That's a defensive stance. Protecting himself. But it still gives him the option to make an attack. There we go, parry repost. And Hong got the victory. Daniel wasn't fast enough. Three rounds to go here in Charlotte, North Carolina, before the athletes undress down to their bathing suits and head on out to the swimming pool at the Mecklenburg County Aquatic Center. We call it Swim Mac. It's where the second largest swim meet in the world is held every year, every May. So you get the likes of Michael Phelps and Natalie Coughlin, Ryan Lochte, all the top American swimmers, a number of international swimmers. Tom Malchaw broke the 200 butterfly world record there recently. So the pool's very, very fast. That's the other thing too. Some of the athletes are, and where we are too, back to the leaderboard. Kripalansky is maintaining his lead. Timoshenko, his teammate, one touch behind. Woodbridge, 1 over 50-50, 1 over 50%. That's a good fence for Woodbridge. May put him in a great position here. He's a great run swimmer. Sam Saxon from the United States, 10 victories, 15 defeats, you'll see there. He needs to push that up if he can to 50%. Lassoon down there, Alexander Lassoon from Russia in 7th place. Lassoon's one of the great fencers of all time in the sport of pentathlon. A little surprising to see him so far down in 7th, but must not be having the greatest of days. Typically, he's a spot-on fencer. El Ghaziri from Egypt in 21st. Ghaziri, one of the great swimmers in the sport. Kinderis from Lithuania in 32nd place. Surprising with only 9 victories. Needs the he's a great fencer. So while we wait for the athletes to recommence over on strip 1, and here they are, Axel Staumann, the referee, checking the blades. Hong from Korea, there you can see on the left. And he's simply thinking about what he needs to do here. The pole on the right. You notice he yelled before he put his mask on. He's got to wake himself up. There's only 3 rounds left, 6 bouts. End of the day, guys get a little sleepy. He's going to obviously look at his blade work. He moves fast, but his actions are they're very exact. They're not big, and he knows what he's doing. And he's also setting up for an attack. Notice his forward stance. Stashkevich from Poland is leaning forward. Now he's lowering his blade. An athlete lowers his blade like that, it's an invitation for exactly that. And the pole parry repost. Stashkevich lowered his blade, and lowering the blade is an invitation. There he is, there's the invitation. And there goes the attack. Simple parry repost. Oh. He hit him on the first parry repost. Frolov from Russia, former world champion. And in my opinion, Frolov is arguably the best trained fencer here in the room. Very classical. Follows in the footsteps of the great Russian fencers, Shuvalov. So Soldatov from Kazakhstan, Frolov, Russia. Both these guys were at a training camp in Colorado over the last 3 weeks, and they certainly bouted each other in training. So we'll see if anybody put any moves in their back pocket, based on the training camp. Notice how Frolof's blade, he doesn't move it very much. He's very, very, very classically trained and superb footwork. Currently second. Wow, that's a big win for Soldatov. Big win for Soldatov. Watch this. Stop hit. Frolov simply missed. Went over the shoulder. Over the shoulder. Soldatov extension. Simple stop hit. But this is where unorthodox style actually helps. Soldatov's his stop hit. He dropped his shoulder on the stop hit, and I don't think that was planned. Frankly, I think that's poor form that worked for him. By dropping the shoulder, Frolov missed, went over the shoulder that he dropped. So here we are back. You got Hong from Korea on the left, Frolov from Russia on the right. Big match for Frolov. Currently in second place. He can't take two defeats. He's going to be very focused on this match. He is absolutely a superior fencer to Hong, but here again, that doesn't mean a whole lot in épée. In one touch. But Frolov's going to be very, very focused. He'll throw the blade down. He'll drop something to a low line to have Hong, to force Hong to attack. He's trying to get Hong to attack. He's pressing, gently pressing, looking for the attack. And if he gets a free touch, great. He'll take it. There's the attack. Nothing done. Now he's pressing again, pressing. There you go. Frolov needed that. Press. Looking for the attack. Attack was off balance. There you go. And to add insult to injury, Hong's down on the ground. But Frolov really needed that. You could tell that the focus on that was far superior to Hong's. Next match, we have Soldatov versus Stachkevich. Soldatov again from Kazakhstan, Stachkevich from Poland. Now both these athletes have a victory in this round. They're both 1-0. So neither one of them is compelled, is in a must-win situation emotionally, mentally. Well, obviously they want to win, but it's not a must-win. So Soldatov is, and I'd put these guys fairly evenly matched skill-wise. Stachkevich has a little more classically trained footwork, you can see there. But Soldatov's bouncing. When you bounce like that, again, he's looking for the opportunity to attack. It's a lot easier to move a body in motion is a lot easier is much faster to move forward than one that's still. That's why he's bouncing. Aha. Yeah, Soldatov was thinking offense. He was pushing the distance. I believe he was thinking to set up in a flesh, and Stachkevich beat him to it. That's all that was. There you go. Saw the opportunity, simple flesh. Soldatov was a full beat behind. Yeah. You can't, it's tough to have your brain be thinking completely offense or completely defense, because often you need to change plans right in midstream. So you got to be open to the possibility that, while I think this is going to be a defensive bout, it might be an offensive one. There might be an opportunity, and I've got to take advantage of it. That's an example of Soldatov just thinking offense, and he really needed a defensive move there. We're in for a real treat here in a few minutes. We've got Timochenko from Ukraine versus Ilya Frolov. You just saw Frolov fencing. Frolov, those two gentlemen, those two athletes are tied for second currently, one touch behind the leader, Kripalansky from Ukraine. So you've got Frolov versus Timochenko. Should be a great bout, great match. Timochenko has the reach, has the height advantage. Frolov is the more skilled fencer, in my opinion, classically trained. But Timochenko is no slouch. He's obviously a very great, talented fencer, very bright man, medical student. I noticed in the training camp in Colorado Springs, he'd often be in the training center dining room reading the classic novels in English. Coached by his father.
I must just add, actually, Rob, that we interviewed him in Palm Springs when he won World Cup #1 last time out in the United States, and his English was getting better and better, and all the time, if he's reading classics in English, that's obviously a good way to go about it.
Well, I think he's reading a lot of Dickens, and so he talks in Old English these days, 19th century English. No, Timochenko, the United States has been very good to him. Yeah, he's the big winner from last year, obviously hoping to repeat. Medals here were handmade by Laurie Norwood, 1989 world champion from the United States. And he's looking to add to his collection of those. They're actually pieces of art. She's one of the more renowned sport artists in the world. And I might add, she's married to my brother. Here we go. This is the big match here. Timochenko from Ukraine on the right, Frolov from Russia on the left. I think the eyes in the room are probably going to be turning to these guys. You have sort of the battle of the titans here. They both absolutely have a game plan in their mind. They know what they're going to try to do. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. They know they're going to try to do it. Frolov taking the advantage. He's pressing. Timochenko, I'm sure, is looking to stop hit. I don't think he's looking at counterattack or a stop hit, I think is what's going through his head. But both these guys, their offense, there you go. Timochenko, counterattack, and then a simple stop hit in the middle of the counterattack. Frolov moves forward. There you go. Now, Timochenko, counterattack, disengage. Ah, sweet. Clearly those guys have fenced each other a number of times. Timochenko just set Frolov up. Inched forward by just an inch or two, literally an inch or two. Frolov moves forward. Here we are, Sam Saxon from the United States on the right. He fences for the United States. His club is the New York Athletic Club. Stachkiewicz from Poland on the left. Sam's had a tough day. Sam really needs this victory. Sam pressing the distance a little bit. He's a little too close for his. Stachkiewicz is a better fencer. Sam needs to keep his distance. We'll see if he can be patient enough to create the situation where he can use his height and stop hit. That should be the game plan. Now he's pressing and asleep. Caught him standing. That's the story of Sam's day today. Pressing a little too close, little too close. Stachkiewicz straight flush. That was a timed straight flush. We say counter time, but these are the last few bouts of the day, so these are big ones for these guys. They know more or less where they're going to finish, but they'd rather finish on the more than the less side. Each one of these bouts is worth 24 points. So these matches are important. If they can pick up the last 2 or 3, they can move themselves up by as much as 100 points. Here's Sam again. Frolov from Russia on the left. Saxon, United States on the right. Saxon's going to press. Frolof's going to simple parry repost, and he did. Sam's not happy with that, but Frolof hit him. Oh, I see why Sam is questioning that. Frolof missed twice, and from our angle, it appears as if he passed him. Had I been directing that, I probably wouldn't have allowed the hit. And especially in the United States, I wouldn't have allowed the hit. Oh well, sports. So Stashkiewicz from Poland on the left. Timoshenko from Ukraine on the right. Poland, Ukraine. Stashkiewicz from Poland, Timoshenko from Ukraine. Timoshenko currently in second place. These guys both were at the same training camp. There were 17 nations there. So they've had the opportunity to fence each other in training scenarios, which really helped. And if I had to, I would say Timoshenko, it helps him more. And the reason is he's a much more cerebral fencer. And he remembers stuff. Stashkiewicz on the left, Timoshenko on the right. Eating up the time. And the Stashkiewicz pulled it off. Timoshenko didn't fight for that. He missed the initial attack. He missed the initial stop hit. And as Stashkiewicz had the continuation of the attack, that's why he stopped. That's why he didn't fight hard. Stashkiewicz hit him initially in the mask on his initial parry repost.
It's amazing. You can see Timoshenko's so eaten up inside
Sure.
there. He just gave some points away, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Absolutely did. Having a good day, though. He's having a good day. So we have China on the right. Sam is just having a tough day. Sam Sachs from the United States on the left. He's just having a tough day. I think he'd like to go to bed and start over tomorrow. He just missed. Sam missed. In fact, he missed twice before Chinese athlete was able to hit him. And that's why you can see that little despondent look there. Sort of, what do I do now? Go from China and Timoshenko from Ukraine. Timoshenko on the left, China on the right. So Ukraine versus China here. Ukraine on the left, China on the right. And Timoshenko is a superior fencer here. But the Chinese, they're cagey, very, very cagey. And they have good coaching. So let's see if their coaches were able to give them a game plan for Timoshenko. So you have second versus sixth at the moment here in place. Double touch, both fencers hit. And that was as you expect. They're both tall guys, so they're using their height. China did it. Gao did it. And that was just a stop hit with opposition. That's all it really was. Timoshenko moves forward. There we go. There's the parry repost, and there, boom. It was actually a parry. Kind of half parry, half stop hit, but he had the opposition. Opposition simply means you're forcing the other guy's blade out of the way. Always used to tell my fencers that, you know, to beat a guy, you got to remove the problem. The problem is the other guy's point. So you got to get that out of the way. You got to remove it, which means beat the blade, take the blade. Take the blade means pushing it out of the way. Saxon from the United States on the left. Guo again from China on the right. So USA versus China. I think this is all about the trade balance here. Sam's pressing. He just can't buy a touch. Just having a tough day. Sam's a good guy, and he's a talented fencer. It's not working for him today. Missed again, twice. And that snowball is rolling down the hill for Sam. It's unfortunate, but that's what happens sometimes. Athletes start losing, they're not able to recover, and it becomes a free fall, out of control. And you see that, it happened with Moshe in the semifinal, the double Olympic gold medalist. So it can happen to anyone. You just hope it doesn't happen to you when it counts. So here we are with Timoshenko from Ukraine on the left, Gao from China on the right. So Ukraine versus China. This is a big one for Timoshenko. He lost the first match. This is a big one. This is a must-win for Timoshenko. Yeah, neither fencer's really doing much of anything. They're just feeling each other out, just dancing. He caught Timoshenko sleeping. That's what that was about. Put him to sleep. He lulled him to sleep. Not a lot of action. Very quiet, and then he just moves. Oh, just blade work. He did an 8 envelopment, 4 opposition repos, but at the end of the day, all that really was just put him to sleep, move the guy's blade out of the way, and hit him. The important piece to that was putting him to sleep, which he did successfully.
ESPN, yeah. What do I need to do to turn the tree range on? Or you can't screw with the range. Wait till the fence is over here.
then because then you want to ask Giannis, because he has his own. You're not going to be using the targets over there. Giannis brought targets and lights with him.
Oh, he told me. He told me how to plug things in. So they're in the bag. I got the bag.
Okay, here we are. Wow, the leaderboard, Timoshenko, that last round hurt him. Dropped down to 4th. Woodbridge, he's holding his own. He's above 50-50. Salskiewicz above 50-50. Marosi, wow. You know, I'm not, no big surprises to me on the upside, a few on the downside. David Zavoda, below 50-50. That's surprising.
It is, and consider that David Svoboda also currently isn't qualified for the Olympics. So all these athletes are... The word on the ground, if you're a fan of Starsky and Hutch, you know Huggy Bear always knows this sort of stuff. Top 20 seems to be the word on the ground out there, that or the word on the street, I should say. Top 20, and you're probably going to be qualifying for the Olympics. You may get lucky, and you may get a little bit below, but if... you know, some of these guys who haven't got through, you know, just getting through to a final isn't enough. You've really got to be finishing in the top half of the leaderboard. So people like Nick Woodbridge, who hasn't qualified, this is great result for him.
Absolutely, in 10th position with his run swim. Yeah, he'll be in the driver's seat. Yeah, he's doing what he needs to do. You know, there's 3 more World Cups after this one, so the ranking list takes three results. So the guys are the ones who don't pull it out here will have 3 more bites at the apple. But they need 3 solid results. From the United States, you got Sam Saxon down there currently in 33rd with 10 victories, and that's going to be that may not be enough for Sam. You know, although he is one of the best combined athletes in the world, so he may really be able to pull it out there. Frolov, no surprise, in 3rd place. Kripalansky, Prokopenko just rode the wave in there. He's 2nd place, but I've watched his bouts today, and he could do no wrong. I mean, if he bent down to tie his shoe, he's going to hit the other guy. He just had one of those days, you know. He's having but World Cups are a great day to have those, a great time to have those days. We don't have much time left. We'll be this group will be headed out to the swimming pool, and here we are again filling out the list. Soldatov, Kazakhstan down in 28th, which is surprising because he looked to be fencing well. Guo from China in 6th. We just watched him watch his performance, and he's fencing well. So the Kripalansky, Prokopenko, Frolov, and Timoshenko. Again, no big surprise in those top 4 finishers, although on the leaderboard at the moment. But you're absolutely right, Adrian. Woodbridge in 10th place is set up well. You never know what can happen in the ride. You know, we always used to say you can draw a pig in horse's clothing.
We've just had an update on the leaderboard. You can see that things have changed slightly. Kurpolyansky and Prokopenko equal first now. And Timoshenko, the World Cup #1 champion from the United States last year, in contention in 4th. Surprising to see Adam Morosi down there in mid-table, 16th. Usually he's on page 1 of the leaderboard.
Yeah, it is surprising with Morosi.
In fact, we We can take a bout of his now. Let's just watch this one, Rob. I'm not sure who he's up against.
Morosi is a classically trained Hungarian fencer. They have great blade work. They can do it all. The Hungarians can do it all. The question is will they do it at the right time?
It's Soldatov of Kazakhstan he's up against here.
Soldatov. Morosi's a better fencer. That doesn't mean he's going to win. He's longer, he's taller, he's more experienced, and he's technically better. But hey, it's Epee. Soldatov knows all of that, though, so he's looking for an opportunity to monopolize on a mistake that Morosi might make. Morosi has to be careful. He's not overconfident. Morosi knows he's a better fencer. And he's playing this very smart, very cool. Double touch. All those guys are doing, we call that fishing. They're just fishing right now. They're throwing the points out and see what happens. Throwing the points out. Nobody's doing anything definitive. No definite actions. Like two boxers in a ring, just throwing punches, just sparring, throwing jabs. That's all that's going on right now. I'm waiting for one of these guys to want to do a knockout punch. And Morosi's the guy to do it, but I think Morosi's anticipating an attack is what it looks like to me. He's expecting Soldatov. No problem. That was just his little fishing expedition paid off. That was a simple flick over the top. Nothing fancy. And Soldatov, his inexperience allowed him to get too close to Adam Morosi, fall inside his distance. It's like it's zeroing in. Pop, and he just, it's like radar. Morosi has a guided missile for an epee. Just throws it out. Yeah, Timochenko just focused on his next match. Very introspective guy. Quiet. Very much the intellectual. China versus Latvia. China on the left, Latvia on the right. The last round here of the tournament, of the fencing portion of the pentathlon event, Charlotte, North Carolina. Gao from China versus Cherkovskis. Cherkovskis from Latvia. Gao from China. Cherkovskis on the right. China. Gao from the left. On the left. Both bouncing. They're both looking for trying to set something up here. Trying to see. They're just throwing the blades out. Double touch. Same action. That was a preemptive strike there. They're just feeling each other out. Oh, the Latvian has a great flick. He's moving, moving, moving. Chinese hopes to stop hit, I believe. Looking for a stop hit. And he missed. Chinese missed. Latvian took advantage of the mistake, and victory for Cherkovskis. There you can see. Now watch. China's going to miss. Oh, parry. Oh, that was a simple parry repost. I was wrong. Simple parry repost. Took the blade in 8, which means he took it down, out of the way, and just wrapped it around his head there. Gao from China again, staying up against Kinderas. Kinderas from Lithuania. Note the Lithuanian shoes there, bright green. So China on the left, Lithuania on the right. Kinderas has a pretty simple style. Gao is better school. He's clearly a technically better fencer, but here again, it's épée, one touch. Kinderas thought the touch should be his. The referee, Axel Stammen from Germany, obviously felt not. Here they go again. Pressing. Kinderas pressing Gao. Lithuania check. Oh, they're still fishing. Kinderas keeps the pressure on, looking for Gao to come out on an attack. Keeping the pressure on. Oh, Kinderas got it, pulled it off. Gao did exactly what Kinderas was looking for. He's pressing, pressing, pressing. And he hit him, it was the first action. On the way down, Kinderas victory. Lithuanian victory there. Sweet shoes. That's an ASICS, looks like an ASICS advertisement. You know, I wonder where I can get a pair of shoes like that. Again, Kinderas from Lithuania on the right. China on the left. Kinderas just keeps the pressure on. Just enough. It's like pushing a plate across the table. You don't want to let the plate fall off the table, so you don't push too hard. You just have to keep the pressure on, which will force the attack, which will force the Chinese athlete to come out. And that's what Kinderas is looking for. So he's pushing him on the Chinese side of the strip. Pressure stays on. Keeps the pressure on. Sometimes you do that, what you're actually thinking is flesh. There we go, that's exactly right. It's exactly what he was looking for. Kept the pressure on, forced the Chinese attack, and he simply stopped it over the top. There we go. Here he goes.
Rob, I must ask you a question, actually. Somebody was saying in the chat room earlier about some of the face masks that have got colours or patterns or Union Jacks on them. Where do you stand on that from a fencing point of view? If you're looking, if somebody had a bright orange face mask, surely that's going to make you put you off a little bit.
Well, the rule on that is you can't have, your mask can't be distracting to your opponent. So, for example, you couldn't get up there with a mirrored mask or something that was going to reflect light, or you could flash light in your opponent's eyes. But generally, the pastels, the greens, the reds, and those things that aren't, fluorescent, that sort of thing. From the side, from your side, you can't tell. Inside your mask, when you're looking through it, you can't tell that it's anything. Your opponent, on the other hand, it takes a little while to get used to. I can tell you that in my day, that wasn't allowed. I mean, you didn't color your mask. Now, obviously, it's allowed, and I have fenced guys with that, and it is a bit of it's just simply something you have to get used to. But I think it adds to the sport. Uniforms are white because back in the old days, back to the dueling days, gentlemen would take off their coats, their jackets, and underneath it would be a white shirt. And duels were fought to first blood, so the white showed the blood. So I'm glad to see that that fencing is allowing more and more color. I think ultimately they're a simple double touch. China disengaged flush, and Latvia simply stop it. But I'm looking forward to the day when they allow more color in the uniforms. I think that's helped tennis a lot, for example. Yeah, see the pressure? Latvians putting pressure on the China. Aha, and that's exactly, it's exactly what Cherkoviskas from Latvia wanted. He simply wanted to keep the pressure on, force the Chinese to come out, which is what he did. And if I was a Chinese coach, I would have had my athlete moving the Latvian on that side of the room.
Well, Rob, thank you very much for coming in to do the commentary. Great pleasure to have you on board. You've done your duty. Two days of fencing commentary. A mixture of bouts, a mixture of styles. But thanks so much, Rob. Same again next year in Palm Springs.
Great being here, and I hope you're enjoying your time in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Certainly are. Having a great time. Well, we're just going to set up a quick interview here, and we're going to just put on the screen in a second our results. So this is the leaderboard as it stands, and we're pretty much there. We're going to leave that on screen for you right now, and that will update, and we'll just set up an interview. So just bear with us for a few minutes.
Sound test, fencing hall.
One, two, 1, 2. I'm just going to say, well done. Pavlo Kopolyansky, great performance here. You finished second in the fencing. You must really feel confident with your fencing today.
Yes, of course, but today it was so hard. In semi-final, much more better.
Yeah. In the semi-final, your brother didn't qualify. We're used to seeing you and Dimitra go on the fencing together, but the quality of the athletes here is very, very high standard, isn't it?
He can do a little mistake. It's very, very strong group. Yeah.
You must be very happy, though. You came second in the fencing. You're above some very, very good people. How do you feel now for the rest of the day?
I'm tired now, but I have 20 minutes before swimming. I think I must do something.
Okay, well, good luck for the rest of the day, and thank you for talking to us.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. So there's Pavlo Kopolyansky, and we're going to stop the stream now, and we're going to get ready for the swimming event. So thank you very much for watching us this morning. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage, and we'll be back in about 3 hours' time with the combined event. Thanks for watching. Goodbye for now.
Okay, to break the cameras down, Abe. Adrian, come and break the cameras down. Yeah. He never says. He always forgets to tell us whether we're free or not.
But Mark's not to explain to I can't even speak. Work.